This is the two-faced reality of the Canadian housing market. On one side, an asset class that has created immense wealth. On the other, a generation being locked out, and a growing segment of the population for whom the dream of ownership isn't just distant, it's impossible. Welcome to North American life. Today, we're tackling one of Canada's most painful questions. In a market this brutal, what hope is there for Canadians without a job? And we will also explore the uncomfortable truth of why this very crisis is creating what some investors see as a golden opportunity, reminiscent of the setup back in 2020. Let's be blunt. For a Canadian without a stable income, buying a home in today's market isn't just difficult. It's a mathematical impossibility. Here's why. First, the income problem. To qualify for a mortgage, you need provable, stable income. Lenders use a stress test, meaning you must qualify at a rate of around 7 to 8%, even if the actual rate is lower. Without a job, you can't even get past the first step. Your application is dead on arrival. Then there's the down payment problem. The cost of living crisis is the final blow. Even if someone is on employment insurance or has savings, they are competing in a rental market that is on fire. The cost of renting a one-bedroom in major cities is now well over $2,000 a month. EI payments are simply not designed to cover this, let alone allow someone to save for a down payment. Savings are being drained just to survive. So, we have a perfect storm. No income to qualify, a high barrier to save for a down payment, and soaring rents that actively prevent any saving at all. The system is not just broken for them, it's non-existent. Now, let's pivot to a perspective that seems to exist in a parallel universe. For investors with capital, this distressed market is starting to look incredibly attractive, and the parallels to 2020 are becoming clearer every day. Think back to the early days of the pandemic. The market froze. Sales plummeted. There was widespread fear and economic uncertainty. For everyday people, it was terrifying. But for investors with cash and courage, it was the buying opportunity of a lifetime. Those who bought during that brief period of panic saw their investments explode in value. They bought the dip, and today, we're seeing a similar, though different, kind of dip. Here's why investors are circling now. Prices have corrected, at least a bit. From the peak, prices are down in many markets. It's not a fire sale, but it's a better entry point than 2022. The rental gold rush is the biggest draw. With buying out of reach for so many, demand for rentals is insatiable. An investor can buy a property today and be confident they can find a tenant tomorrow at a record high rent that can help cover the mortgage. But the coming rate cuts. This is the key. The Bank of Canada is expected to start cutting interest rates soon. Savvy investors are looking to get in before the pivot. They're acquiring assets while rates are still high and competition from regular buyers is low. The moment rates are cut, a flood of pent-up demand will hit the market. Prices will likely rebound, and their portfolio's value will surge, all while their properties are occupied by tenants paying top dollar. It's a brutal calculus, but a logical one. The very unaffordability that crushes aspiring homeowners creates a guaranteed tenant base for investors. So, we're left with a deeply divided nation. A propertied class, including investors, positioned to build more wealth, and a growing renter class, including the unemployed, facing perpetual insecurity. The social contract is fraying. When hard work and even a stable career no longer guarantee the basic security of housing, it leads to despair and a loss of faith in the future. Is there any hope for change? It would require radical, politically difficult solutions that are not yet on the horizon at the scale needed. A massive, government-led build-out of non-market housing tax reforms, treating housing as a financial asset first and a monumental effort to increase supply that outpaces population growth. The Canadian housing market is telling a tale of two countries. For the investor with capital, it's a story of strategic positioning, of seeing opportunity in crisis, and of a potential payoff that echoes the biggest win of the last decade. But for the Canadian without a job, it's not a story at all, it's a dead end. The door isn't just closed. The path to the door has been washed away. The question for Canada is this: can a nation thrive when its housing market serves as a wealth engine for some, at the direct expense of a stable life for others? What do you think is the solution? Should there be limits on investment properties? Let us know in the comments. If you found this analysis insightful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more unfiltered looks at North American life. Thanks for watching.